So after my spoiler-free review, I realized I had a lot more to say because you can't really talk about this movie without spoilers. So this is your warning. Spoilers for the Batman.
Fear is a tool.
So I broke these down into sections because there's a lot in a 3-hour movie, as you can imagine. So the opening for both characters, starting with the Riddler especially, where you're at the mayor's mansion and the mayor's like pacing back and forth watching the news, but then at one point you just see the reflection of the TV screen in Riddler's glasses, and he's silhouetted. It's a horror movie. It's so cool. It's the scariest thing. And then all you hear is the Riddler's like raw scream, and he kills that dude very violently. And then Batman, the narration. The narration is the most emo thing I have ever seen and ever heard. And then it shows all those shots of like the shadows, and he says something like, "They think I'm hiding in the shadows, but I am the shadows." It's so cool. And then you have the fight where you've seen in the trailer where the guy walks up to him, he's like, "Who the hell are you supposed to be?" And then he just beats the living shit out of him. It's so Arkham. All these fight scenes are so Arkham. They're so violent. They're so cool. It's just so Batman to me. But if we talk about Batman as a character, like entirely, the score. I didn't touch upon this in my spoiler free. I forgot as I was editing it, but the score. Every time he walks in a room, you hear his boots and you hear the theme, and it's the coolest thing ever. And that's how it should be. Like he should own that room every time he's in it. Robert Pattinson, when he walks into the room as in the suit, owns it every time. It's probably my favorite Batman theme to date. And then the attitude, like when he walks into the crime scene for the mayor after the Riddler killed him, the cops are just like, "Why are you letting him in here?" Batman doesn't say a word. He just looks at them. And then he's like examining the crime scene, and you have the person taking photos of the crime scene, and Batman just walks up to a pile of blood, and it's a photo she hadn't shot. So she looks at him, he looks at her, and then she just takes the picture. Like, oh shit, I missed it. Because world's greatest detective. Like every time somebody insults him, he stares at them. Robert Pattinson is doing so much work with just his eyes. It's perfect. He doesn't say much. When he does talk, it's very important. He's got a Batman voice like everybody, but like, wouldn't you? You know? Yeah, I think Pattinson just nails this. It's so hard to talk about because there's just so much here. But like every scene he's in, he nails. The detective element of this, where he's got the flashlight and he's looking at, all the crime scene stuff. Even back at the Batcave, he has those contact lenses that record everything he sees. So like, there's a piece of evidence at the crime scene. It's like a piece of paper. So Batman just looks at it, so he doesn't have to keep it, and the cops don't know he doesn't have it, and he just prints it in the Batcave. It's so cool. Bruce Wayne isn't in this movie very much. He's really only in a couple scenes with Alfred. He's in like 2 scenes with Alfred. One at the beginning where he's like really rude to him, and then the other later where the Riddler sent him a note, and that's another thing I like while I'm on this. So throughout the movie, it's kind of implied the Riddler knows Bruce Wayne is Batman, but then he's in the interrogation room with him later, which is a phenomenal scene, and Batman's just standing in front of the door not looking at him, and it's like, shit, he knows. I can't look at him. And then all of a sudden the Riddler like doesn't know. Like, he realizes the Riddler doesn't know. He he's like didn't know the whole time, and Batman just comes in and just, you know, that's when he starts interrogating him, pounding him down on it. It's so cool. But back to Bruce and Alfred. He's really mean to him. There's one scene where he's going to the funeral and he's like, do you have your Alfred's like, do you have your cufflinks? And he's like, no, I don't care. And Alfred gives him his, and he's like, what are you doing with Wayne cufflinks? He's like, your father gave them to me. Bruce doesn't need to be that much of a dick. And then when he wakes up in the hospital after the explosion in Wayne Manor, you can tell, like, Andy Serkis as Alfred is very excited to see him just by, like, his facial expression. And immediately, Rob's just like, you lied to me. Take a chill pill. This man just almost died for you. You know? Another relationship. Batman and Penguin. Penguin is like, Colin Farrell stole this a little bit from me. Everybody's great, but like he kind of shines in here, even though he's a side character. Like, so during the case, he goes to the Iceberg Lounge for information. There's this big brawl in there. It's great. And that's when you get that scene from the trailer when he's like, take it easy, sweetheart. And then they go into his office and he starts like giving him info and stuff, and they talk. And I didn't expect that. I kind of just expected, you know, car chase and the fight. The car chase is phenomenal. The car chase is so cool, and it's like overly long, and the best part is it's not like a cut and clean car chase. They're weaving through highways, through traffic. It's so cool. And the facial expressions cutting back and forth between Penguin, who's like freaking out, and then you have Rob's Batman just like the whole time, like screaming and yelling. And that brings me to another thing, because in that Iceberg Lounge scene, you have Batman meets Catwoman, and it's like an incel seeing a girl for the first time, and he like doesn't know how to handle her because she's like overly confident for a girl or something. Like, he's never seen anything like this, and it's really funny. But like, I kind of buy it. Like, they have great chemistry, and there's not much in the story where you would think that, but by the end I was kind of just like, yeah, okay, I buy this. They're two lost souls with parent issues, and they're broken, and they found something in each other. So this is the only movie where Batman and Gordon's relationship has been something that I've really bought, and it was kind of a buddy cop dynamic, I'm seeing people say, and I kind of agree with that. They have that chat when they escape the GCPD, which I touched upon in the non-spoiler one. You have Gordon has some action in here. They have that where they go to take down Penguin, like the car chase. I believe it's there. I don't know. This movie kind of blends together. It's so long. The scene where Batman escapes GCPD and he gets up to the roof, and you can tell he's never done this before, and he gets the wingsuit out, and he just like goes, whew, like, this is high, you know? I thought that was very nice acting from Pattinson. Batman and Riddler, you know, really didn't believe two sides of the same coin until the end, where you realize Batman calls himself Vengeance the whole time, and then in the final battle, they ask the Riddler guys who they are, and they go, I'm Vengeance. And that's when it clicks for Batman that he can't be Vengeance. He has to be a beacon of hope. And that's why at the end of the beginning of the movie, it starts in like rain and darkness, and he's just beating the shit out of people. And at the end, it's sunlight. It's like dawn, and he's carrying a person out of rubble. It's actually like very nice. It's a great contrast and very thematic. And, you know, I didn't really, I really liked it. I just kind of like this movie all around. Lack of Bruce Wayne, not a knock. For once, I finally got a movie that's all Batman, because, like, Bruce Wayne's kind of boring, you know, like, what does he do without a Robin? You know, like, I'm interested in the parental dynamic that he has with them, but other than that, I really don't care about Bruce Wayne. So it was kind of nice, and like, we'll see this Bruce Wayne develop a little bit, because normally he always is billionaire playboy right off the bat, but like, he's not here, and like, maybe we'll see that and we'll get some growth there, and it gives Bruce Wayne a little more to do. The Joker tease, it's very I watched an interview this morning that kind of changed my opinion on it, where he talks about how it would be an illness where he's forced to smile all the time. Kind of fuck with it. I would watch a movie of that. But like, the problem with this is, stop making Joker the second villain. Make him the end. Make him the end of your trilogy. You know, make him break Batman mentally. Like, I understand the Nolan trilogy went, he can break him, like, mentally, but Bane broke him physically. You should have flipped that, if that was ever possible. And I think that would have been better. That's just my opinion, though. Gotham City is its own character here. It's the most realized Gotham City ever. And it's so good. The atmosphere is fantastic. Everything is like, it's not like Nolan Chicago. It's like real gothic shit. And I really appreciated that. This movie didn't feel like 3 hours to me. It felt like 2.5, running a little long. You know, there was a lull in the middle. It has some of the, honestly, it's phenomenal. It's one of the best movies I've seen in a long time, and it reminds me of like the magic of like Raimi's Spider-Man 2, like that era, but like for updated with modern tech and stuff. And I really hope we get another one and the same amount of effort gets put into this, because I want more, you know. I want more of the Batman, you know. So hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.